Don't ask me to buy you anything if I don't even know your middle name.
I'm not into black women.
Oh. Why is this always the answer? I need to know this right now.
So you think I'm ugly?
No, that's not it. You're conventionally a very pretty girl. It's just a preference. I actually tried to kind of see a black girl for a little bit, but I just couldn't like get into it. Like, I mean, if a girl's half, it's different. But like a girl who's like fully black, for some reason, it's just.
So it's just like a preference of skin tone. So you don't like black people?
No, I love black people, but I'm just not attracted sexually to black women.
What's one race that you wouldn't date?
Definitely.
I wanted to hear her answer.
I mean,
So she just threw it
why
right
the
back
fuck
at him.
did she had the nerve to say, oh, so you don't like black people because he doesn't want to date a black woman? That's this type of shit that irritates me.
So what's the psychology behind finding someone beautiful but not wanting to date them?
There's beautiful white women that are extremely pale. I would never date either.
Okay, this is why I'm not mad. If he said, and he did say, I'm just not attracted to, but when he first started talking, I don't blame her for saying, so you don't like black people, because he kind of said, I can't get into it. So it's like, what aren't you getting into? Is it black people as a whole that like, is it how we talk? Is it like our mindset? Is it just dating a black woman that you just cannot do no matter what she looks like?
There's some beautiful women in all colors or shades. But the thing is, some shades people do not find attractive. And I'm okay with that. Like, you know, there's other features that I will never date, like a gap. Like if you have a gap in your teeth, it's definitely out.
Sometimes a gap is cute.
No, for you, right? Like, but
No,
but
I'm just saying sometimes, like sometimes there's an exception because I prefer everybody close that shit up, right? But then sometimes I'll see someone and be like, oh, your gap is cute.
no. See, the first thing I look at when I talk to people is their teeth. Like when I'm close, right? It goes from your eyes to your teeth to your eyes to your teeth. Hey, yo, I fucking quit. Yo, Amanda's crazy. But you have nice teeth, right?
I do. No
So-
braces ever.
It's yo, Amanda went straight to showing her shit off. She's like, "Oh yeah," but that's just but that's me, right? Some people don't care if they, you know, if somebody's teeth are, you know, slightly crooked, are V-shaped. You know what I'm saying? Like I do. You know what I'm saying? But that's my preference. You know, so just because I say I don't like your teeth doesn't mean I don't like anybody who may have a lisp. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's kind of how she did it when she was like, oh, if you're not attracted to black women, do you not like black people? Which means that you don't like us as a whole.
He said attracted after. Like he cleaned it up after she said that. Because I felt the same way. Because he said, I just can't get into it. Which kind of was just like, well, hold on. What you mean? What you mean?
I think that people don't jump out of their comfort zones. White, black, Spanish, Asian, it doesn't matter. If you only know what you know, a lot of people aren't curious beings to go figure out. They're only going to live through somebody else's experience or live through something that they might have seen once or twice and think that that's the, you know, the entire truth. But like, that's why, like, where I grew up, I don't want to say where I grew up, where I ended up moving to and had my like high school years, it was like the best place to be because it was a true blend. You know what I'm saying? There was black, there was Asian, there was Indian, there was white, there was Spanish. Like, and it wasn't that really one race really overpowered the other. Like, it was almost kind of all a little bit balanced, right? Might be a little bit more here or a little bit more here, but it was balanced. So I grew up with all cultures. I grew up with, you know, all ethnicities and backgrounds and colors and shades of people. So, like, I did have a white girlfriend. I did have a Spanish girlfriend. I had mad mixed girlfriend because everybody was fucking mixed at that point. We started mixing each other. like, you feel what I mean? So for me, it's normal like that. There's a lot of people who are not literally exposed to other races or even the ability to be attracted to other races or what the sex would even be like with other races.
Well, I grew up around all black kids. I had black students, black teachers, right? But then when I got to middle school, public school, there was There was white kids, Hispanic, because I went to school in Bushwick, so there was a lot of Hispanic kids. But the black kids actually outnumbered everybody. But I think I was in 7th grade when I just got there, and I had a little Asian boyfriend for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks.
She's like, this is new.
Right, but I wouldn't do that now though. I
No?
was more open to like seeing what I liked back then. And there was a lot of Hispanics too. So I was like, I found a lot of the Hispanic guys cute. But I wouldn't look at anybody other than black now.
You know,
So I get it.
I believe to be black means to be powerful, right? That's just my personal opinion, right? I think we have the most obstacles faced against us in the world, in my opinion, and I think that makes us so much stronger than every other race. And I personally would rather my child have the ability to, be strong, exercise his strength or her strength, and stand firm with their lineage and their heritage, right? So I guess like that's what I always wanted.
Met this guy, random guy, met him or whatever, and I wanted to use him as a case study because I already knew like he wasn't really my type, so I already knew that it's not going to go anywhere. He took me on a sushi date. Of course, I enjoyed it. I love sushi. And on the day he's talking to me, he's telling me, I'm like, oh, do you have any woman? He's like, yeah, I have a girl. She's long distance. We're not that serious. I'm not really looking for anything serious with her because she's not really my type. So I'm like, oh, interesting. I'm listening to him. So I'm like, oh, interesting. I'm asking him more about himself. He's telling me he's into development, building buildings, development. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. So he starts asking me about myself. I try to keep it really short. As I answer, I divert the questions back to him to let him talk more so he can feel comfortable talking. I noticed his phones kept ringing and he kept going to the bathroom and saying it's a business call. I didn't really mind because I'm like, you know what? I'm having sushi. I don't even care what you're doing. I'm here having a good time for myself. Now, we were talking a little bit and a week passed, we're still talking. He's knowing more about me. He's interested. He loves my drive. He loves my ambition and everything. And that's good. He sees that I have a drive, but not from a masculine standpoint, from a standpoint of, oh, she's a busy woman. She has things she got going on. She's not going to just be available all the time. The second week, I was like, okay, this is the time I need to build him. I need to build him now. I don't want to keep being pen pals. We're not pen pals. So I asked him for something very minor. This is the tiny thing that I asked him for.
Build him?
Just to test to see if he was willing to like jump the gun. Don't be pen pals with these men. They know what they want from you. They know what they want. All right. So I'm like, my laptop charger is bad. And he's like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I think I need to buy a new one because it has a shortage in there. I'm not sure what's wrong. It has a shortage. He didn't offer anything. So I was like, oh, do you mind getting me a charger? This man didn't open the message to the next day and said, oh, I'm sorry. I was so busy. I'm so sorry. Do you still need the MacBook charger? And I was like, you know what? No, I'm okay. I sorted it out myself. So once I started seeing that he really wasn't even trying to do much for me, because you know what it is that guys will use like a first date to woo you, take you to a nice place and say, all right, you know what? After this now, since I took her on that first date, it's about time for her to lay in my bed. That's what I'm telling you. This is what these guys be doing. So he thought that he was going to checkmate me, but he didn't know that the only girls that get played is the girls that don't know how to play the game. And I'm the girl that knows how to play the game. So you know what I did? I literally just stopped entertaining him. Like, he would write me and say, hey, what's up? I'd be like, hey, everything is one word answers. And he'd be like, why are you not talking? I'm just like, there's nothing really to talk about because we've talked about everything. If you know my laptop is my bread and butter and I'm telling you something simple as my laptop charger is broken and you can't even say, oh, let me buy you another one or let me send something for you, then what are we talking about? I'm not a pen pal. Can you believe that was the best decision I made? Because you know what it is too about us women is when we start entertaining that pen pal type of relationship, we start becoming emotionally invested because now we're used to seeing their good morning text messages and it'd be a whole bunch of BS later on. To prevent that, don't even be a pen pal at all. So he'll watch my stories, everything. Can you believe a week or two later
on
WhatsApp?
She talked too much.
I was about to.
I'd have walked.
Beginning was a drag. She could have got more to the point.
Her voice. If I was really on a date with her, I would make up business calls just to take a break. Like, yo, all right, hold on. I'll be right back.
So I don't agree with the test that she did. One, she keeps talking about pen pals. Don't be pen pals with these niggas. And I'm like, if it's not pen pals you want to be, isn't it quality time, a date, more dates, more in-person, face-to-face connection that you want? Why are you testing him, seeing if he gonna buy your charger?
A
Like,
charger.
A charger.
A charger.
And if it is your bread and butter, bitch, why are you asking somebody else to get it if you really need it?
And my thing is like, it's a charger. And I mean, as a man, if you asking me for a charger, I honestly, that's like 17 red flags. If you ask me for something small, I'm gonna be like, oh, this is gonna be a needy person. Because you could ask me for something small this early, you're gonna have no regard in asking me for anything, small, medium, or big, for the longevity or however long that we're talking. So maybe and then I also thought maybe he was testing you. Maybe he was like, all right, I'm not gonna buy it right now. Let me sit down. Let me see how she responds. Let me see how she responds when she's told no, which is way more important than how you respond when you're told yes. And he actually didn't even tell her no. He basically said, wait, right? So the next day he said, yeah, I'll buy you the charger. My fault. Da-da-da-da. Do you still need me to get it? And she said, no, I got it, basically, right? Now, if she didn't get that charger, I would honestly, if I was him, if she didn't get that charger, I'd be like, yeah, this is never going to go anywhere.
Yeah, because
Right?
you're waiting for me now.
Do get the charger. I'm like, you didn't really need me to begin with. You was just testing me. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, honestly, she failed the test. It didn't even matter.
Unqualified people are making requests for things that they are not qualified for. Sorry, needed that to be on the mic.
Nah, and it's a fact, because the thing is, I mean, even if she was qualified, she was dismissed by asking for a charger right after a sushi date. You know what I'm saying? And clearly, like, you're kind of seeing that this dude is low key busy, right? If he's out on a date with you and he has to keep on stepping out and taking a business call, now he could have been lying, but let's just say he's not, right?
I was about to say, I thought that was a lie, but okay.
Yeah, it most likely was a lie, but
That's really what the date was about. Bitch, I'm about to go take somebody else out.
yeah, exactly. You know, but I just think that it's like, yo, stop asking for something so early. Like, it's actually a turnoff now, because like, if I'm a man and you ask me for anything early, like I'm talking about, we went on one date, now you ask me to buy you your charger. We went on one date, now you ask me to pay for your nails. We went on one date, and now you ask me for hair money. And it's like, this is not gonna work. Now, I could understand if we've been dating for a month or two, like, we seen each other frequently, twice a week, and now you want to start to try to say, hey, listen, these are different things that I expect my man to do. That's different, but I don't even know you. like when are we going to get to the point that this man does not know you for you to understand that he's not obligated to buy you anything?
That's why she spoke so much at the beginning, because she was trying to
build a rapport.
Yeah, she was trying to build up that, okay, yeah, and we were talking, and I let him talk, and I let him get to know me, and I got to know him, so now we here. But no, we're not here. And there was no correlation to the pen pal, and like, that is just throwing me, because he already took you on a date. He's already paying for something. So it's not like he's incapable of paying for something. Yeah. Why are you testing that man? For what?
But that's the thing, though. And what's crazy is, like, don't ask me to buy you anything if I don't even know your middle name, right? Don't ask me to buy you anything and I have not met your parents. Like, I don't know who you are. I don't care how much you tell me, right? I don't know where you come from. I don't know how your mother is. I don't know how your father is. I don't know how your family is. I have no idea of the true person that you are, but you feel comfortable or obligated enough to test me and send me an invoice, realistically, for a charger, for a text message, and all these different types of crazy ass requests. I mean, that's wild to me. I mean, the thing is, like, if just like how girls be like, oh, a man gonna know what he want, blah 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 blah. He gonna marry you in 4 months because a man knows what he wants. All right, well, girl gonna fuck you in 4 hours if she wants what she wants. So if I know that you making me run through loopholes and all these different types of things, it's not the fact that you have this respect for yourself and these boundaries. It's just the fact that you don't like me that much yet. Maybe you feel like you don't know me that well yet. The desire is not there Because girls that really, really like you, they could have 0 one-night stands in 35 years of their life. They meet that one dude who they building with, they got that chemistry with. It's a great night. It's a great evening. The vibes is right. She fucking him. 6 hours.
But then she a hoe.
She might be a hoe. She a hoe for him. I don't think every girl is a hoe for everybody. Like I like that's why I try to tell.
Not for everybody, but because of her actions, a guy will call her a hoe for that.
Again, it depends. Remember, I sat right here and I said, I ain't gonna lie.
She said,
I'ma think I'm special.
"You did say that."
I'ma think I know I have the ability that most don't. So I'm like, if she runs across, 1,000 Ricos, she's gonna have 1,000 bodies. But there's not 1,000 Ricos that she's gonna run across in a lifetime. So, the odds are pretty much in my favor. I ain't gonna lie. Like back in the day, I would get mad if I knew a loser hit the same girl as me. I'm like, damn, she got no respect for herself. Like, and that's how I would feel. If like there's another dude, what I'm saying, and he's of my caliber or maybe even higher, I'm like, all right, that's cool. The math is mathing. She's on pace.
She just upgraded.
No. I'm talking about, well, first of all, any girl that had a bunch of lames, I'm not going to be her superhero. She's not going to add me on that list. But if I'm talking about like she hit, like me and her did it, and then after that, I found that she had Ray, she had Joey, Lil Joey. Like any girl fuck anybody with the name Lil is a problem with me. The security in the front, like what? And he overweight. No offense to, like I'm like, come on,
They
man.
do be.
You don't have no like,
Most of them.
do you have a type?
No, I don't. None of my exes, nobody I used to talk to, none of them look alike.
But do they have like the same build?
No,
Like, are some of them tall, short, or some of them fat, some of them stocky, some of them skinny?
no, none fat.
So you do have certain.
I actually have I had a fat nigga try to talk to me? I don't think so.
No, try not try to talk to you. Someone that you talk to, yeah.
No.
What's
No, actually, when I was in high school, there was this guy. I had a crush on him, but that was because he was really funny. He made me laugh all the time.
That's why I tell dudes don't tell jokes to my girls. I don't like that. Don't be funny with ain't nothing funny.
We had
Fuck is you laughing for? Yeah.
we had gym together, and I would just be laughing, and the girls used to be like,
Yo, they sleepwalk into the pussy. Like, you're like, what?
And I wish some of y'all would mess with my wife, Jordan. Talking about what you gonna do if you see her. Well, you will see me on the news. Let me just tell you that right now.
"What state is this?"
Talking about what you gonna do if you see her. You better walk by and say, praise the Lord. That's what you better do.
18-year-old wife? You better walk by and say, praise the Lord. Nigga, you going to hell.
That's my wife.
That's your daughter.
Right.
And she grown. She didn't need nobody to sign no paperwork for her.
These are the people running a church. You understand this?
His granddaughter, actually.
Word.
Now,
Yeah.
if this was out in the streets, y'all be saying she made a come up. But you a hypocrite.
Right.
So don't you forget the Bible say marriage is honorable. And the Bible said when you find a wife, honey, you find favor with God, honey. I found some favor with God.
You found a child to manipulate. This guy is a creep.
And you know what? I'm cutting it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm just put this out there, right? I'm 31 years of age. My daughter is 3. If my daughter is 18 and any of you weirdos touch her, I don't care. She could say that she loves you to death. She could say it's her life, but it's my choice. It's my choice, and I will get rid of you. I'm not saying a threat. Maybe. but that relationship is not going to persist. I don't care who it is. 18 years old with a 63-year-old and you a church man?
Yeah. That's
He's a
crazy.
pastor?
A bishop.
He got a lot of sins he got to
But
repent.
I don't understand. What is it with the church leaders that be, I don't know. There's always something with them. So always some kind of scandal. And I guess this isn't really seen as a
Kids.
scandal because she's 18. But it's like, what be going on?
Well, so I'm actually kind of glad that we speaking about this. So there's this dude that works out at my gym. He actually is a follower of me and ate at the table. And he, came up to me to just give me my flowers. But he's also been a state detective in New Jersey for a decade, and he specializes in like pedophilia and sexual assaults and rapes and stuff along those lines. And he said it's always the person of power. He said the number one target is the people in a church. The number one target is the person that you think is the most charming person that can't do no wrong. They're usually the worst because they kind of fly underneath the radar because there's so many people that will vouch for them being a good person. They can't even picture them being this type of person. And it's always the people who have access to the kids. So schools, he's like the favorite teacher of the schools is always messing around with a girl or a boy, right? The church, there's parents bringing their kids to church and leaving their kids with different types of, people in a church, right? But it's always that situation. And he also told me something. He said, there's some people that are so terrible, but they have so many different people on payroll from the CIA to et cetera, that there's no way you'll ever be able to touch them. And those type of people have a different form of power that will never go away. He's like, so you can catch some of them, but you can't even arrest them all.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Nickelodeon documentary. The guy that sexually assaulted Drake Bell, he was around all of these kids on set, all that, Amanda Show. Yeah, even after, exactly. And all of the character witnesses that he brought to court, he had a whole half of the courtroom to talk
Vouch.
well about him. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, and the thing is too, like, it's wild. I was talking about Drake Bell. This was sometime last year, and it was like random because I used to watch the Drake and Josh show, right? I used to think it was a funny show back in the day, and
It's funny,
right? And I was like, in my mind, I was like, I just can't fathom what happened to somebody like Drake because Drake was like popular in our age group. You know what I'm saying? Like he made music, like he was actually like able to make music with a guitar and maybe other instruments. I'm not sure. And he was singing, plus he was like, popular on the TV shows. And it's like you see somebody like that kind of vanish, like in thin air, randomly. Usually these people grow with their audiences and their fans. But when you just stop, and I remember I was like, let me go look at his Instagram. So I go on his Instagram and I'm like, this isn't the same person. There's and then, later on that documentary came out and I was like, damn. I wonder, what role did this play in his career?
I think it definitely did. I think that he had a very traumatic, and he wasn't that young. He was a teenager.
He looks the same though.
I was basically going to say the same thing. As people in power, they need control. So it's like with the Nickelodeon shows, they get their power from the kids and their parents. So they know that they have the power to do things that the kids won't even see as bad because they look up to them, right? And like, this is a powerful guy. Like, he doesn't do any wrong. So him doing anything that shouldn't be seen as bad isn't, right? They don't know any better. And if they do, it's like, what do I say?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, so my thing is, when it comes down to power, I think it is a form, but I think it's more intricate because there is 360 deals, and that's a way of power too. You can own somebody just off paperwork. You know, so when you get to a point where you are, you know, sexually assaulting or forcing yourself on them, I think it's more than just power at that point. You know, I think you want to damage somebody. You want to like collect the soul. That's how I kind of look at it, right? And when you want that, that's a different form, I guess, of power because it's more so of ownership. No matter what you do, you can never forget this, you know, and you have to live with me regardless if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Like you would never forget me. And I think that is I think it's more than just power. You know what I'm saying? But it is power, but it's like it's a depth. You know what I'm saying?
Wanting to collect souls, that sounds so demonic. But I'm trying to like
But you get
piece
what I'm saying,
together
right?
why so many church leaders are like this. I never really understand. But to be honest, I find, and not all churches, some to be very culty, very cult-like, because they will follow you no matter what you say. Like, they're a follower of Jesus, the Lord. So it's like, whatever you say, this is God's word. I'm telling you what it is. So I'm putting my trust, I'm putting my faith in you. And people get so wrapped up in it that they're like, these people are like, damn, I got so many people like under my thumb. Like, so many people will listen to whatever I have to say, and they will do whatever I say.
And you also don't, the thing is, when everybody will listen to you, it's hard for you to think that you could be wrong. Right? So if I have, let's say if I'm that bishop and I have, you know, 10,000 attendees coming every week, that's a lot. And it's like, I could say something that I'm not even sure of, but 10,000 people going to validate me. Right? So I walk around like I'm always right. But I think the thing is, when it comes to a person who has that much influence and impact, what makes it's not fulfilling for some, right? So it's just like a person who has money and they could be wealthy and they've been wealthy for so long, but they still don't feel happy. So then they're like, if I have what we're supposed to say is everything in the world, I have all the wealth in the world, but I still feel empty, they resort to crazier different things. It could be drugs. And the same thing with these types of people of power that, you know, have the power of influence, like that bishop, for example. It's like I can have millions of people come and watch me on my YouTube, and then thousands upon thousands of people come and hear me speak, but I still don't feel powerful yet. I don't feel as powerful as I could because they think I'm big, but I feel like I'm small. I'm only saying this from a small scale because that's why I have to watch what I say and what I do, because I could get on here. I'm not gonna lie. You know when I really realized this shit was really wild was when Beyonce dropped Lemonade, right? And women started breaking up with their boyfriends and husbands. I'm like, just because of this woman,
and smashing cars and getting
braids. These
Influence
girls
was real.
I'm like, yo, these girls are going crazy off of this one person's word. Begging Becky
And
with the good hair.
everybody was Becky.
So
Beyonce did that.
but that's so crazy when you think about the power that you can really have. And I also think that a lot of people don't know that they're a wolf until they get into that position that they realize that they can be, right? And that's like the corruption that happens within you, because you were like that bishop at 18, he was probably or sometimes they do have like a traumatic life that eventually they just wait for that moment and then they do what they do. But some of these people are just good people. You know, I was watching the show Your Honor. I've been watching it. So in one episode, there's a cop who's being revealed as a dirty cop, right? And he said, literally, this was earlier today, he's like, I was a good cop. I did everything that I was going to do that I needed to do, you know? And then somewhere down the line, I just started doing the bad things. And he killed himself, right? This is the show, by the way. But what I'm saying is that a lot of people start off good until they get the power. When you don't have to fear consequence, you don't operate like everybody else. It's like, I know I could get away with this. You know what I'm saying? If I told you right now, you can go into a bank and rob the bank for $250,000 and nothing's going to happen to you as long as you don't kill anybody, you'll probably go try to do it, right? That's the same way that he feels. That's the same way that this bishop feels with this 18-year-old girl. He technically is not killing anybody. He's not breaking that law, but it's okay. He can get away with it. But when we really think about it, you married an 18-year-old. That means you've been talking to her since before she was 18. You know what I'm saying? So she had to recently turn 18 this year. So if I just did the math and said you met her last month, let's give you the benefit of the doubt, Bishop. You telling me that you married her within 30 days of her, or you were only talking to her within 30 days of her being legal? No, bro. Your math is not math, and you've been talking to her since she was a minor. You married her when she became of age.
Okay.
Oh,
right,
those
Bernie.
Bernie Mac checks must have dried up, or like from a job 20 years ago when I was a 12-year-old. Yeah, like duh.
Because we think the residuals are still coming through though.
I mean, they do, but
It's not.
we
it's-
weren't. I wasn't. Listen, if I was on Friends making $1 million an episode, yes, those residual checks would still be very nice. But as time goes on, they get smaller and smaller every year. You're not making the same amount that you were when the show was current per episode.
Right.
So, as someone who was just a kid, don't get me wrong, still making good money, but 20 years later, those checks are not sustainable for a living. And with the industry being as fickle as it is, you can't count on any job to last or even to book a job. So over the years, I have done
Porn.
regular 9-to-5s.
Oh wow.
I owned an ice cream shop for
Wow.
3 years when I was a teenager.
Wow.
And I funded that with my own money. I taught gymnastics to kids where I was making like $11-12 an hour. So I've done that.
Wow.
But if I can find a way to make enough to buy a home
You never bought one?
from the comfort and safety of my own living room, why wouldn't I do that?
Well, what exactly was she doing on OnlyFans? Can we pull it up?
Nah, it ain't free. She need the money. I mean, my thing is this, and
She is very recognizable. I don't think that she's gonna be on
wait, who is that, by the way?
the daughter from the Bernie Mac
Oh,
show.
that's the daughter
Yeah,
from the Bernie Mac show.
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. My thing is, I don't even care if you want to do OnlyFans, do OnlyFans, right? I can't tell you what to do with your life, but what I will say is that it's still sad. It's still sad that you were on this show. There was a lot of money that was generated from the show, and you haven't found a way to make it lucrative for you for the remainder of your life. You know, a lot of this money has probably dried up, and obviously nothing lasts forever. And I think that's the reality that she's having. You know, 20 years down the line, the checks, the mailbox money isn't as big as it used to be. Yeah, because times change, desires change, people's choice of entertainment changes, the climate changes. And with all that being said, your work that you did 20, 30 years ago may not be as lucrative today as it once was. That's why it's very important to put yourself in a position where you can financially support yourself when you do have that big blessing like that.
Right. And that's typically the life of an actor anyway. Like, yeah, she was on a popular TV show. I don't know how much other work she's done besides the Bernie Mac show, but she's obviously hasn't been acting for a while. And if so far all you've done was a couple 9-to-5s and like odd jobs, she said she was teaching gymnastics and she's
Odd
now
job.
looking. I'm just assuming that was a random job.
Yeah, it definitely was.
How did you get into teaching gymnastics? But if you're now looking to OnlyFans for you to be able to afford a house, then you are at the bottom, my girl.
And the weird thing to me is, why didn't you already have a house? You know, like that's when she said to buy a home. You should have been bought a home. You know what I'm saying?
Well, who knows what she was doing with her money or how she prioritized it when she was a kid? Because she was a kid when she was making the big bucks.
Yeah, but she bought an ice cream shop instead of a house,
and it wasn't successful. She said that only lasted 3 years.
And that's why it was a terrible investment.
So yeah, bad investment. So now she was probably back to square one.
Which I'm not mad if I'm not mad, you know. Like, just don't sauce it up to be like a glamorous thing. Like, it's your only option in the world is to go on OnlyFans. Like, there's many different options. You could have said, hey, I'm gonna go back to school and I'm gonna try to study to do this or become that, whatever the case may be. If she hasn't already been there.
Well, I don't think she made it seem like
She was educated.
No. She didn't make it seem like it was her only choice, but it was her choice.
It was her best choice.
And I mean, they want to know because it's just like, nigga, we know you from Bernie Mac show. What happened? And that's what people are going to say once you know somebody from TV. You're going to assume that you have so much money because you were on a popular TV show, but the money does run out. Like she said, the money that she still gets from the show is nothing to sustain an adult life.
I just think that it's sad. It's like when you see a girl or a guy, whoever, you see somebody who has credentials of, you know, some type of level that is the dream for many people in this world, being on these big time shows, then you resort to OnlyFans 20 years later. It's like watching a store go out of business. It's like now everything's on clearance, and it's like everything must go, right? Like, I feel like it's sad when you see that. I'm not mad if you do sell out the remainder of your inventory, and maybe you can buy a house, but you also know that this is another, you know, short-term situation for you.
It's only a thing. It's only a topic because it's OnlyFans and it's not that respectable for someone like her. But there's people that haven't been acting in years and they resort to waitressing. And people are so fucking shocked when they see them and they're their server or they're driving Uber. It's the same thing. They don't got nothing much going on and they have to find these little jobs. OnlyFans will get her the money quicker than waitressing or Ubering.
I mean, look, we also did pull up the stats of OnlyFans this week or last week, and the truth is that only 1% make $10,000 or more out of almost 1.2 million people that are daily users.
Yeah, but for regular OnlyFans users, she's an actor, an ex-actor.
Yeah, but we don't even know who she is. Like, Marie can't even remember like.
No. Marie said she didn't watch this. Marie, correct? You said you didn't watch the show?
Oh, she didn't watch the show.
I feel like anybody.
I'm sorry,
she
Marie.
has a very recognizable face. I'm sure anybody that sees her is gonna say that's the girl from Bernie Mac show.
Well, I want to ask this question, right?
Her?
Yeah. What's next? Right? Because, okay, let's say you get this little OnlyFans pocket money. Thank you. So, like, if you're going to go down the route, because look, porn is a lucrative industry. You can make a lot of money in it. And I'm not saying that she should be a porn star, but I'm saying that what's next? You're doing odd jobs. This is no different. This is another odd job that you might be able to make more money in, but it's going to be short-lived. And then you're going to be back to figuring stuff out again. So you might as well start figuring things out now while you're,
Well, she'll probably start dabbling in content creation. She's already has the
collaboration OnlyFans.
Who knows? She's learning to use a camera to record herself, to upload things.
She's using her phone. This is terrible. Honestly, it's bad. Rest in peace to Bernie Mac. You know,
your daughter out here doing some strange things. Okay, guys, that concludes this episode. I hope you guys liked our reactions. We hope you liked this new episode. We're going to be trying to do a lot of this more. New episodes Thursdays and Sundays. Please like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on all of our streaming channels. See you next time.
And 8 at the Table is gonna have an OnlyFans, and it's gonna be very, very great. It's gonna be called 8 After Dark, where they're gonna be doing something strange for a podcast mic. No, I'm kidding.